Hey there folks, today I'd like to take a casual peek into the Masters of the Universe Classics Count Marzo action figure set by Mattel. This set was first released in 2010 as part of the monthly subscription release for July. I purchased this set through a third-party seller. It's called Louisiana Toy Box, and I'll post the link to their store in the description down below. And I ended up paying $25 for this set. Taking a look at Count Marzo here in the packaging. Now, this was one of my early Masters of the Universe Classic purchases when I first started collecting the line. And I really didn't know anything about Count Marzo other than he looked badass, and that's the reason why I purchased him. So, and I'm glad I did, because it looks really, really cool. And I think this version of Count Marzo is based off the 2000X version. And you can see Count Marzo is wielding an amulet there, and has a sword here in the back. And Count Marzo is the evil master of magic. Taking a look at the back of the package here, and you can see here a description of Count Marzo, or biography. And up above here, we have other figures from the Masters of the Universe Classics line. We have Hordak, He-Man, Evelyn, King Randor, Man-at-Arms, Count Marzo, and Skeletor. Now, we'll be right back and have Count Marzo here out of the package. Okay, we're back and we have Count Marzo here out of the package, and I really like this figure. It's a really badass figure set. And I am a fan of evil wizards, and Count Marzo here, based on his bio, is a 5th degree wizard. Now, I don't know what that means, but it certainly sounds nice, and the figure looks nice as well. But before we get into more details of Count Marzo here, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that come with him. And he comes with 2. The first accessory here is the amulet, which I believe houses his power. And it's actually pretty neat. It's a looks like a big giant gem here, and it's made of translucent plastic. You can see some of the light shining through the amulet there. It's actually kind of cool. It's got a diamond pattern here on the back, and a nice gem-like shape on the front, and surrounded by silver accent here. It's very, very cool. I really like it. And this figure here, his left hand is sculpted specifically to hold this amulet, which is really cool. I really like that. Very, very neat. And it's I believe it's also meant to be placed on his side here. I wasn't sure if this was for his sword or for his amulet, but I think it's cool to have a nice holster for the amulet, so that's what I'm going for instead of the sword. So, and speaking of the sword, take a look at his other accessory here, which is a red and black colored sword with the silver blade and the red tip here. Now, I'm not sure why he has a sword here. He is a 5th degree wizard. I'm not sure why he needs a sword unless he's a fighter magic user. And I guess that would be cool. I would have preferred a staff or a rod or some kind, but a sword is okay. And I'm not removing it from his hand because it's very difficult to place and remove the sword from the hand. The hand is sculpted of very hard plastic, and he has a very tight grip. You can see there's very little clearance between the thumb and the finger there. So removing the sword or putting the sword into the hand is rather difficult. It takes a little bit of work. But you can see some of the details of the sword here. He's got a black grip there, and the guard here is painted red, and there's some gray colored accent in the middle there. And the blade is painted a metallic silver, which is cool, and he's got the red tip here. I guess for hooking in his foes, and that's kind of cool. Unfortunately, my blade here was kind of bent during packaging, so there's a little bit of warpage there, which I'll have to straighten out a little bit later. But a nice looking sword, and I would have preferred, like I said, a staff or a rod or a wand of some kind. Now, taking a look at Count Marzo here, and this guy just really looks menacing, and he's just a very cool looking wizard here. And this figure is, I guess, based off the 2000X version of Count Marzo. I did some interwebs searching and saw the original Count Marzo, and it doesn't look anything like this figure here. And but taking a look at the details of this guy, he's got a lot of detail, especially around the head sculpt. And starting with that, you can see he's got a very mean expression on his face, very serious expression, and it's got some very good sculpting details. You can see it's kind of hidden with his hair here on the lights are kind of shading the face, but you can see he's a very stern expression there, and he's got a beard here that's painted in gray and black, which is kind of cool. And you can also see some of the sculpting detail on the face, especially around the forehead there. To accentuate the scowl on his face, you can see the wrinkles in the forehead there. Very, very cool. And just a lot of detail, especially underneath the eyes as well. So very, very nice. And it's painted nicely to boot, so that's kind of cool. Taking a look at his hair here, you can see he's got some longish hair here, painted in black and with streaks of gray on the front here. And it's very nice, very windswept, dramatic type of sculpt there. You can see individual strands of hair sculpted in there. It's actually quite neat. There's some molding lines here though on the top right portion of the head though, which is unfortunate on there. That's one of the issues with this figure set is QC, like this molding sculpt, and some other QC issues. But taking a look at the rest of the figure, you can see this chest plate here, or armor piece here, with nice shoulder accents. Very cool, and we have the flowing red cape here. It's attached to this armor piece. And it's nicely detailed. You can see some of the design work at the bottom of the cape there. It's a little thick and a little rigid, especially at the upper portion of the cape here. And it does tend to be back heavy a little bit, especially for this figure because of the weaker ankles. Now, if the ankles here were a little bit stiffer, it probably wouldn't be a problem, but for this figure it is. It just tends to push the figure back due to the weaker ankles here. And it's long enough so that it doesn't fall completely back, and the way it's formed, you can see it just rests on the cape there. It's very low to the ground, so that's a plus. It doesn't actually topple over completely. But it's nicely designed, just a little heavy. Taking a look at the rest of the Count Marzo figure here, you can see he's got a skirt area here, which is made of a thicker plastic, but the nice thing about this is that it's got slits throughout the skirt area here, so that it frees up the articulation of the figure, so that it doesn't restrict it too much, which is very, very nice. And you can see some of the pattern work on the skirt there. It's very cool. And you can see here more QC issues, a streak of silver paint running across the side there, which is unfortunate. I can probably scratch that off on there, and that will not be a problem once that's taken care of there. And you got a nice plain decoration there on the torso, and it's raised above the waist, but doesn't prevent the articulation of the waist, so that's kind of cool. Looking down here, you got the boots with some nice detail on there with the what is probably straps there and a buckle. But it's very cool, and you got some more silver slits on the boots. So really neat looking figure, especially to go with a really good head sculpt here. It looks very menacing, and it's a very nice figure. Going over the articulation for Count Marzo here. The head can go side to side and up and down, but the sculpt of the hair, which is made of not entirely solid piece of plastic, it is slightly bendable, but it's kind of thick, especially right here on this inner portion of the hair. That kind of prevents the head from going all the way around it, and also over here because it runs up against the shoulder on there. So really you can only get the head side to side and up and down, and forward and backward shifting as well, so it's kind of interesting there. The arms do go all the way around. You really have to work it because of the cape around the top of the shoulder there, but it can go all the way around. It can go out and in, and the arms can go all the way around at the upper portion of the bicep there. The elbows do bend in and out, and the hands can go all the way around at the wrist. Now you can take a look at some of the detail work on this hand here. I don't know if these wrinkle lines are intentional or not, but it looks like his amulet there has done some work to his hand there. So I think that's kind of cool if it was intentional, but nicely sculpted on that hand. The torso can bend down, up, and back, even with the cape on there, so it's kind of cool. The torso can go all the way around at the waist. The legs can go up, down, and back, and out to the side. And the leg can go all the way around at the top of the thigh. The legs bend at the knees. And there is a boot swivel that can go all the way around. It's a little stiff, but you can get it all the way around. And the feet bend up and down slightly, as well as an ankle pivot, although this one doesn't seem to work as well as this one here. So overall, a great figure. I really like it, especially him being a 5th degree wizard. If anybody knows what a 5th degree wizard is, let me know, because it sounds pretty cool, but I don't know what that means. But it's still a great figure, great figure to have. Even though you may not be a fan of the 2000X series, I still think it's a nice figure. This is my casual peek into the Masters of the Universe Classics Count Marzo action figure. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.